Welcome you all. Today let us see what is dV by dt triggering of thyristor, that is rate of change of voltage triggering of thyristors. So what is meant by triggering? Triggering is nothing but the instant at which you make the thyristor to conduct. So we always measure the instant from zero value. Okay, so on x-axis if we plot the time scale, so from 0 up to the point at which your SCR has started, that we call it as a triggering point or triggering angle. Okay, triggering is nothing but firing of the SCR or making the SCR to conduct. So this topic explains how a thyristor will get turned on by change of the voltage. Okay, change in the voltage. So in our last videos, we have seen how the SCR is going to conduct, how the SCR behaves as a latching device. We have seen it by considering the two transistor model of the thyristor. So now we'll continue that further, wherein we will consider the two transistors. So we have already seen the two transistor model. So this is a PNP transistor which we had treated as Q1, and this is an NPN transistor which is treated as Q2. So in the two transistor model which we have seen in our previous video, we haven't considered this capacitance, that is the junction capacitance CJ1, CJ2, CJ3, that we haven't considered. So now when under steady state conditions, we will not have this junction capacitances in picture. Okay, this junction capacitances comes into picture during the transient state, and these junction capacitances are not the physical capacitances which you connect. It is the capacitance effect which is being observed in the thyristor, especially at the junctions. So here you have two terminals, that is emitter, right? You have this terminal is emitter, this terminal is base, this terminal is collector. Obviously there will be a junction between emitter and base. You have a junction between base and collector. Okay, again this is a base of the second transistor, this is the emitter of the second transistor. So you again have a junction over here. So the first junction capacitance CJ1 is between the emitter and base of first transistor. CJ2 is the junction capacitance which is across the collector and the base, collector of the first transistor and base of the second transistor. And third junction capacitance, which is CJ3, which is across the base and the emitter of the second transistor. So what will happen is when the thyristor is in the forward blocking state. What is forward blocking state? Forward blocking state means anode and cathode terminal we have applied a positive voltage, but the thyristor is not conducting. That is forward blocking state. So when our thyristor is in the forward blocking state, what will happen is this particular junction J1 is forward biased, junction J3 is also forward biased. Only this junction J2 is reverse biased. In such a case, there will be an increase in the junction voltage. So what will happen? If the junction voltage is increased, obviously the current IJ2 will increase. What it will happen when the current IJ2 increases due to increase in the junction voltage? Obviously there will be a forward bias in the junction J2, and once all these three junctions are forward biased, the thyristor is going to conduct. Actually it is a false triggering, not the actual method of triggering. Okay, it is a false triggering method. So instead of applying gate voltage or instead of increasing the anode to cathode voltage externally, the thyristor will turn on with the increase in the junction voltage. So you can observe here the current through this second junction capacitance Cj2 is nothing but Ij2. So I, you know, it is given by I can be written generally as dq by dt. So it is across the second junction. So it is denoted as q2, dq2 by dt. Q in terms of the capacitance, we can write it as Cj2 into Vj2. So next, split this round. Cj2, keep it constant, it becomes dVj2 by dt, that is this term, and plus this Vj, it is constant. If you treat it as variation in the capacitance, that means to say if the junction voltage increases, then obviously there will be an increase in the current, which will lead to a thyristor turn on. Actually, this method of thyristor turn on is not preferred. Why? Because it will cause the increase in the leakage current and the junction temperature will increase and it will lead to the damage of the thyristor. That is why we need to take care of the current which is flowing through this junction capacitor, especially only under the transient state condition we come across these junction capacitances. When last video we have seen the characteristics, that is turn on, turn off characteristics as well as VI characteristics. There we haven't considered this junction capacitances at all. Okay, so this circuit here explains you how a thyristor will get turned on even if you haven't applied a gate voltage or even if you haven't increased the anode to cathode voltage. Say for example, you see VAK, you have applied some 15 volts. Okay, for example, VAK, you have applied some 15 volts. Gate current you have not at all applied, that means gate voltage is 0. Then also the thyristor will conduct. How it will conduct? That is due to increase in this junction current, that is Ij2. So which we have to avoid. So if your leakage current increases, what will happen? Current gain will increase. So current gain, if it approaches to unity, then your anode current will be very, very high. So we have to take care of this. So in our next video, we will see which are the different methods available to turn on the thyristor, and out of the available methods to turn on the thyristor, which is a permissible method and which is not permissible method. Thank you.